Hello! This is Monday night's Get Nuked. I am thirsty, and this will be Rotten Under Ooze Town. We have some very simple rules for chat that our special, official rescue guest will say.
Don't be a tool about someone's gender. Don't be a tool about someone's race. And most importantly, don't be a tool or screwdriver.
Well, there you are. You've heard it from the bloke who said it more times than anyone else. So yes, as the astute of you will notice, there is no spanners just down there. There is a big oops! Because for some reason, at very short notice, spanners became unavailable. So, as people may have guessed from his wonderful new title, Kerone, our rescue guest, stepped into the breach and has become the fella upstairs. So, right. In grand tradition, who are you people? What's going on here?
Hello, I'm Kerone, and I will be playing Gregor.
Excellent.
That's all you need to know for now.
Uh-oh.
All right. How about you?
I'm Lilth, and I will be, as always, playing Anita. Our lovable, falling apart rotter.
Excellent. So, for those of you who weren't here last week, well, to be fair, neither of you were. But yeah, for anyone who didn't know, last week, Timmy and Zeke took a rather large burly man by the name of Kurt upstairs to his own room in the House of Boys and suspended him from the ceiling by his ankle and his throat. And they proceeded to fail to intimidate him a number of times, while Timmy worked some ingenious torture upon his thighs, which we won't speculate on to why spanners would know such things. But hey, so yeah, there was some torture, and during this, a hole formed in the ceiling. One of the rings they were hanging Kurt from fell through and ripped a chunk of floorboard down with it. And so, ever the intelligent and aware one, Anita decided to pop upstairs to make sure that the people upstairs didn't cause a problem. And as we all know from last week, problems occurred downstairs. Many problems, and deaths, and panic, and yeah, they fled. Zeke got beaten. It was pandemonium. So anyway, we have Anita heading upstairs in the House of Boys. We have, I think, the boy Eric heading down the stairs and grabbing a drink because he's just decided that he's having the night off too. So, Anita, you are in the stairway of the House of Boys. You know that you need to get to the room immediately above Kurt's.
Yes, which, if I remember rightly, was on the left-hand side of the staircase.
It was on the left-hand side of the staircase, halfway up the stairs.
Yeah.
So, you're not entirely sure whether that will translate to the next floor up.
Yeah, she's gonna head on up, though.
Okay.
Try and work out where the hell the room above it is.
Okay. So yeah, you're going to head on upstairs. You're still getting odd looks because, let's face it, not many women in the House of Boys. Even if we have established that Anita is quite androgynous in her sort of crispy, rotten state.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you don't see many rotters in the House of Boys either. So yeah, you're heading on upstairs. Come to the top, obviously. And when you get to the top, there is a room on the left. Immediately, there is a room straight ahead, and there is a corridor that wraps back round. It seems to wrap round sort of the whole of the sort of exterior wall of the place. So as you walk around this spiral corridor, there are rooms on the left. There are rooms on the right too. But,
Okay.
You're looking for an outer wall room.
She is going to work her way back the way she came. So as if she was coming up the stairs, she's going to go around the other way to try and find this room. So she's going to double back on herself and look for a room on the right.
Okay, so you're going to immediately double back once you sort of clear the banisters.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as you do so, you head on round. You notice there's a turnstile. There definitely seems to be a sort of a workflow sort of arrangement set up here.
Okay.
It's not an elaborate pre-war object. It's more of a sort of rotating door made of pallets. Made of bits of old wooden pallet.
Okay.
It's a door that sort of only spins one way. And you could possibly try and sort of commit some manner of acrobatic insanity to flip around it over the open stairway, but you can't push through it from your side.
Okay. Anita isn't that dexterous. She's not too bad, but she's not great. So she's going to go back round the other way.
Fair enough. That seems legit. So yeah, you decide to head around the other way. You notice there's actually a chalk arrow on the floor as you turn back round, and you notice that the door straight ahead actually has a little janitor's sign on it. The door that was immediately off to the left of the stairs is clearly labelled as a toilet.
Okay.
But yeah, you head off on the corridor, and there is another one of these turnstile doors, but it's designed to let you in.
Okay, then I will go in.
Yeah. Yes. You push on through. It spins round. It's no frills. I mean, downstairs was a bit decadent and perfumed. Upstairs seems all business. As you walk around, you start to see sort of rough plank doors. Some have holes in. There are noises emerging from some of them, and the cold of the grave from others. But yeah, you head on around. I mean, I don't know, how curious are you as to what's going on?
She's been around a bit. She's also treated a few people. So she's probably not that curious as to what's going on in the rooms until she finds the one she's after.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you head around. You hear you hear the ubiquitous sort of slapping and and sighs and grunts and people obviously in the midst of some manner of role play. There's someone screaming about daddy. There's someone who's clearly making some kind of animal noise. As that one takes you aback for a moment, I'd assume. You'd have a quick you just glance at the door in passing, like, what the fuck is that? And you see what seems to be someone in a suit made of sort of doormats. You just see a hunched back with a suit made of doormats, and you're just like, don't need to know anymore.
No, don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to annoy those hedgehog personas.
Nope.
Yeah, you head on, you keep on going. Yep. Nope.
Don't want to know.
Yep. And there are a few doors that are open. They're clearly waiting for people to come in, either with drinks or just for people to join them upstairs. You know. Some of them get a little indignant about a woman walking past. You know, what the hell are you doing here? That's not the action I was here for. You don't give them any action, so they settle back into whatever the hell they were doing in preparation of someone joining them. But as you've made it sort of around 3/4 of the way around this building now, you're the last right turn is before you, and you see a door unlike the others. It's sort of bound with metal. It's got a large sort of wheel in the middle. The outside is clearly adorned with sort of objects of a nautical theme. There's one of those bad old Billy Bass singing fish on the wall. I mean, the batteries are long since dead, but it's there. It's there. Its head and tail sort of flopping limply off the wall.
Anita's going to sigh gratefully that it is not working, because she remembers them and she does not like them.
Yeah. In fact, as you pass, it does nudge back into life briefly. It got a crit for not being dead. So it nudges back into life briefly, and it just sort of it blurts out some horribly garbled bars of something. Holy crap! But yeah, and it winds down in that that rather mournful and sorrowful way that something with almost dead batteries does. But yeah, you activated the motion sensor. But yeah, here is a door. It for all intents and purposes, it kind of looks like a door you'd see on like any nuclear submarine movie ever. It's a metal door with a pressure wheel on it. It's got a little pressure gauge like mounted next to it. It doesn't appear to be attached to anything. It might even just be a pressure gauge off some random object somewhere else. Fuck, it might even just be a pressure gauge off of like a radiator for a car. You don't know. That's if you brought Timmy along, she'd probably be able to tell you. But
she's busy.
Yeah, she's otherwise engaged.
Yeah.
You've come to this door. There's an anchor on the wall on the other side. There's some of those little orange protective buoys that they use. They hang over the side as a sort of bumper. All sorts of these things. And inside you can hear, just through this thick metal door, this sort of slapping noise.
Anita's just going to push the door open and walk in.
Okay, you just going to lay your hand on the door and push?
Yeah, she's going to see if that works. If not, she's going to have a go at the wheel.
Okay. You lay your hand on the door and push, and it moves about an inch and a half, and then goes thunk.
Okay, in that case, she's going to try and spin the wheel on the door to see if that will open it.
Okay, yeah. You're just going to like brace it one-handed, or you're going to go for the full,
Go for the full two-handed.
The full Das Boot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go for the full Das Boot. You seize it with both hands. You get your shoulders ready for a bit of tension, and it turns about 3 inches to the left. It goes tunk, and the door swings open. it's being used to operate a wooden latch. There's just a cam on the other side with like a bar. Thunk. Sorted. Yeah. And the door swings open, and inside you see a rather burly boy. He has the tattoo, BOI, on his shoulder, as you've seen with many of the other boys. And he's in what probably equates to some kind of like erotic reimagining of a sailor's suit. He's got the little hat, and the little sort of bib thing, and a pair of blue leather hot pants with brass buttons, and some very shiny shoes. The only other thing he appears to be wearing is oil. And in his hands, he's holding a very large, very flat fish, which he seems to be using to spank the buttocks of a man laying over... I'm not entirely sure what you'd call it. It appears to be a large pile of fishing nets. And what does this man look like, Kerone? What does Grigor look like?
He would normally have pants on.
He may indeed still have pants on.
And trousers, and a coat, and boots. And that's all I ever wrote.
Okay. But what does the man himself look like, divested of those paltry trappings?
He's probably got, I suppose, a little twisty moustache. Sometimes a monocle.
Okay, how about availing us of the things that possibly one might get, the things that one might gather about him from behind while he's being spanked with a large flat fish? Is he a tall fellow? Is he a round fellow?
No, I might have that.
Is his skin pale or ruddy? Does he have a large boil on his left buttock?
He's 5'8". Yeah, and he's got a heart tattoo there.
Ah.
But he's quite slim.
Okay, so it's a slim man at 5'8" with a heart tattoo on his buttocks, who's currently being spanked with with an animal that looks to be, the natural genetic offspring of a manhole cover and a Dover sole.
I seem to recall Anita cooked some of that a little while ago.
Yeah, that would be the very thing.
Mm-hmm.
And upon the door, swinging open, probably hitting the wall with a light clang. It is a metal door. What does Grigor do? I imagine the boy stops and looks.
Well, before that, he just goes, "Nay, nay, meow."
All right, said the boy. Yeah. It's your money, sir.
Oh, you've caught me doing my exercises. Stops the rheumatoid arthritis, I had an itch. Can I help?
Anita's just going to shake her head and go, "Yeah, that doesn't work, don't you? You need some cream for the itch."
Oh, damn! I feel silly now.
Unfortunately, I've run out of the cream. Otherwise, I'd let you buy some. But
Oh well, that's
completely out of stock.
That is a pity. Oh dear. That'll do for now, Jenkins.
Jenkins, the cabin boy, steps back a few. You notice now that his hat clearly says cabin boy on it. In defiance of all naval traditions, because normally it says what what ship you're from. But hey, I don't imagine Jenkins knows that. Or that Jenkins is even his real name. Jenkins just looks between the two of you and says, "Bugger this, I need a drink." and he leaves. You hear the turnstile going a few moments later. And you are left standing in a room with a hole in the floor with a half-naked man and probably a rather battered-looking fish.
Anita's going to say, nice tattoo. She's going to look around and go, I used to have a really good one, but it seems to have fallen off. So, yeah.
Oh,
And you might want to put your trousers back on. Yeah. It's not anything I've not seen before, but, you know.
yeah,
Maybe
I
yourself
know.
up there.
That's just probably for the best. I'll make myself look a bit more decent, and I'll give the fish a little sniff and throw it to one side.
It's good eating on one of those, you know that, right? It's a bit of a waste throwing it.
I recover the fish and stick it in my pocket.
You stick it in your pocket. How fucking big are your pockets?
Oh, it sticks out the top. But
This is like the size of a desk fan. it's a big fish.
I'd try and stick it in my pocket.
Okay.
Potentially fail.
I dread to picture someone trying to like fold a manta ray in half and shove it in their pocket, but yeah.
Anita just stands there shaking her head, going, really didn't need to bother about distracting this person.
Possibly not. Through the hole in the floor, you start to hear sort of pained cries, muffled voices.
Is everything okay down there?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. They like a bit of rough play down there. Don't worry about it.
Oh, don't we all? But
At this point, you hear a definite grunt of pain from down there. Yeah. There might even be a little bit of sobbing.
someone's going a few inches the extra mile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get what you pay for, and they've paid for the best. Can I have that fish a second?
By all means.
Anita's going to shove the fish over the hole, try and muffle the sound a bit.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, you place the fish over the hole. That seems to be working. The voices are almost completely muffled. The moans, the cries, they still come through a bit, but you're doing your best.
Moans and cries around here, normal business, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, we do hear them a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, don't worry about those. So what are you doing in Ooze Town?
Oh, well, I just... I was at a pub a little while ago, and I sort of left the pub and got a bit lost. And,
Easily done.
Yeah, it sort of looked like quite a nice place. Stuff to do to pass the time. But yes, just really wandering about, to be honest. Not much else going on. Just, yes.
Yeah, I can agree that there's lots to do. Whether or not it's nice is another matter.
Well, they do vocational trips to places as well. It's just today is a certain themed night. Yes, it's horse night, and that was the theme today. Anyway,
Horse night. Really are quite insane, sir. At this point, a boy comes in. It's a fairly large, well-built boy, much like Jenkins, but a different individual. He comes in with a drink, two in fact. a little jug as well, and he kind of he stands by the door in a way that sort of suggests maybe you should be leaving. He doesn't outright say it, but you notice that out in the hall there's a little cart with a bucket and a mop, and it looks like the turnaround crew has come in.
My time is up now anyway, so we could have a bit of a wander.
Mind if I tag along? I've got nothing to do. Seem to be busy at the moment.
Yes,
you could say.
Yes, that'd be marvellous. I believe these drinks are for us.
There you are. There you are.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that's marvellous, and I hope we haven't left it in too much of a state for you.
No. The guy just walks in. He brings the cart in. And he's just sort of standing there, like, "Where's the mess?" He notices the fish on the floor.
Yeah, sorry about the fish. And I'll just walk off.
As you walk off, yours was the last room around. The area immediately afterwards, there's a little area with sort of 3 ratty-looking sofas and a little table, where people can sort of chill out and have their complimentary drink. A little calming down area for exiting back into the real world. So, you can sit down there if you want, but,
Anita's going to say before she leaves the room, you might want to ignore any noise from downstairs. I think the guys down there are into some quite rough stuff. It's kind of why the fish is there. There's a smallish hole that all the sound was coming through, so I've just blocked it up for you.
All right.
When she walks out.
Fair enough. Right, so you watch the door sort of close behind you, behind him, and you're left in the corridor as this fella does his job. You'd assume, at least. You're just reaching the little sort of atrium area with the little ratty sofas, when a very, very loud gunshot goes off.
Anita looks around and thinks to herself, "Oh crap! What have they done now?" She automatically assumes that it's her associate.
That's probably a safe assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The gunshot goes off, and within a few moments, it becomes quite clear that this isn't entirely unusual, but it's not normally quite this close. Some of the boys, some of the patrons, start stepping out of the doors and sort of, what the bloody hell's going on? That sounded very close. Are we in danger? Oi! Oi! What is that?
Nothing to worry about. Someone's just having a little bit too much fun. Just go back to what you were doing. Don't panic. It's all fine. You're all safe. Just don't worry about it.
Yes, they don't seem entirely satisfied with that, but they return to their rooms. They don't seem to be interested in causing any trouble. But you do start to hear from downstairs a little bit of commotion. There's clearly some interest.
We might want to stay out of the way up here for a bit. There seems to be some commotion downstairs. You really don't want to get involved too much.
Didn't you say you came from down there?
Yeah, it's fine. We all have to come upstairs from downstairs. It's where the entrance is.
True. But I meant from this commotion that's going on.
No, the commotion started after I came up. It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, as you were discussing this, you hear heavy footfalls thudding down the stairs very quickly. The room below seems to have been vacated with great speed. Possibly greater speed than last week. But yes.
Anita is definitely thinking, oh great, what have they done now? And really doesn't want to get involved at the moment because she really doesn't want to get in trouble right now.
Yeah.
And at least I'm about if they need bailing out.
Yeah. Now that the footfalls have vanished, you start to hear people sort of creeping up the stairs. There's definitely some movement down there. It's a lot slower and more cautious than the stampede of elephants going down. A few people try to pass you in your little atrium as well, but fuck it. An older woman has emerged from the janitor's room and is sort of standing like, "Don't go down. No. We'll deal with this. All of you just go back through." And they're like, "We can't go back through. It's this turnstile. What are you people playing at?" She starts hitting people with her broom. "Back her off. Go and sit down. Complimentary drinks in a bit. Don't bother us. Clean up in progress. Happens all the time." Doesn't seem to reassure the patrons very much, the idea that this sort of thing happens all the time. But they get told they're going to have complimentary drinks, so there are very few things a British person won't do for complimentary drinks. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so the commotion sort of sort of lasts through its course and dies down a bit, and eventually things seem to sort of be calming down. You hear people coming in downstairs. You hear someone saying, "It's upstairs. It's not down here. No, leave us alone." And you hear the door. You hear a door sort of being kicked open, and people going inside. And you hear two men's voices going, "Bloody hell! What the? What did they do to his legs? Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!" And at length, there's a noise. A noise you can only describe as sort of a wet pattering sound, followed by dry heaving. As one of these two individuals is clearly now voiding himself of his lunch. They don't often see people shot at close range with heavy gauge rifles, especially not in the face.
At that commotion, Anita remembers she's got her complimentary drink and just downs it.
Yes.
And considers the half bottle that she's got in her bag.
But last time you drank that, it didn't go well.
It didn't. No, that's why she's not drinking it yet.
Yes. It would occur to you at this point that people saw you coming in with the people who went in that room.
Mm-hmm.
There are clearly two people in that room who are investigating in some manner. You hear them rummaging around. You hear them asking who was in here. They refer to Kurt by name, so they clearly are aware of who he is. And whoever they're talking to seems to be answering. You can't exactly make out the words. It's someone who's quite clearly quite scared, talking quietly. You know, they don't want all the patrons to know what's going on.
Is there anything about that Anita could put on that has a hood that will cover her face?
Not in the little atrium where you are. I mean, I
What
dare
about
say you could probably go into the rooms and try and find something that could be described as a hood.
Yeah, Anita's going to do that.
Okay.
Be back in a second.
Okay.
Unless you've got a hood I could borrow.
No, I'm afraid I've just got my coat.
Ah, does your coat have a hood?
I'm afraid not.
Ah, damn. Okay. I'll be right back. Wait here.
Okay. Well, the one room that you know there would definitely be something that would conceal your face is the room where you saw someone in a fursuit. Now, that would definitely have some kind of hat or headgear or hood arrangement going on. If you wanted to pursue that. I mean, you haven't seen anyone in the corridor dressed as a hedgehog. So, you know, think of, either whoever was has abandoned their outfit and left, or they're still in the room.
Anita's going to head to that room.
Okay, yeah, you head to that room. The door is still as closed as it was, but it's not locked. You know, these doors don't really lock. They're sort of notional privacy. Some of them have latches, some of them don't. But yeah, you can easily push it open.
Yeah, Anita's just going to knock and open the door straight away and go, room service.
Okay. Yeah, you say so and you push in, and as you step inside, you notice that every available surface in this room is covered in mud. Like mud and moss and dry grass are like arranged artfully. There's even a scrap of camo netting in one corner that's meant to be sort of vaguely approximating a bush of some kind. And as you look up, you actually notice that the mud has been plastered over the ceiling as well to give this room the impression of a sort of burrow. Which is odd considering there was a bush in the corner, but hey. Who knows? And hanging in the middle of the room from a hook on the ceiling is a sort of hellish amalgam of fabrics, like rough, coarse fabrics that have sort of stiff, like brush bristles, like impregnated on the back to form a serviceable, if only in dim light, outfit of a hedgehog.
Is there anyone inside the outfit?
It doesn't appear so. It's hanging from a hook on the ceiling. No, it's sort of it's dangling from this hook.
Anita's going to grab it and put it on.
Okay. How tall is Anita?
Anita is about 5'4".
Okay. The outfit is primarily just sort of like a rug with a mask with a large sort of like roundish rug hanging off the back with all these bristles on. There's not actually a lot to the front of it. There's sort of a t-shirt and an assemblage of sort of straps to go around sort of wrists and ankles.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed for, well, unsurprisingly, it's designed for a man in Bungo's House of Boys. So it's designed for someone sort of a good 3-4 inches taller than you. So it doubles over on the floor and drags a bit. If you were to go on hands and knees, it would be it would be an identity concealing disguise. If you're going to wander around upright, it's a mask with a carpet on it. It's a mask with a heavy carpet attached. You know, people won't see who you are, but it won't actively hide, you know, details people could associate with you, like what you were wearing when you came in. You know, the appearance of your coat, your jacket, your trousers, your shoes, your neck. You know, being a rotter. A rotter of feminine form here.
Yeah. She's still going to put it on.
Okay.
She's going to head back out. And she's going to say, can you do me a favour and just play along? I need to get out without anyone realising it's me. The commotion is possibly an issue.
Okay. Well, I can see the thing that you're wearing. It doesn't quite cover you completely.
Yeah, no, I've got a plan.
Okay.
And she drops to her hands and knees and starts crawling out.
Oh, God. Okay.
I'm going to add to this idea.
Yeah. As you start to head out of the atrium area, you notice there's a rather tall, rotund gentleman, who's conspicuous by the fact that he's not wearing much in the way of clothing, and he has very, very sort of deep red wheals from straps on his forearms, his neck, and his ankles, all of which are visible because the clothes he's wearing don't appear to be his. And there's a look in his eyes of recognition and a little horror as what he might have come to think of as his fursuit scuttles out through the turnstile without him.
I'm going to saddle Anita.
Okay.
So that it adds to the look.
Okay. You attempt to climb astride a small, spindly woman in a costume that purposefully has stiff bristles attached to it. God. What should we choose for this? Being that you haven't discussed this beforehand, I'd say this is some kind of grapple.
Uh, 12.
Right. Anita, as you are scuttling through the turnstile, something grabs you from above and a heavy weight lands on your lower back. What the hell do you do? Are you going to resist this this grasp?
She's going to kind of try and look over her shoulder and what the fuck? What?
You could try. You could try and look over your shoulder, but resist the grapple for me with strength.
This is not going to go well. 7.
7. Okay. Yeah. Caught completely by surprise. This admittedly nondescript, fairly average height man jumps on your back at great cost to his groin and just crushes you against the floor. next time you're going to mount up and try and ride someone over like rough planks, tell them. You know, piggybacks work better that way. Oh.
She's gonna try and get up and it's like, what? Warning!
Oh, you both take a single point of damage. Anita for being crushed against the floor, and Grigor for jumping on a bristly, spiny thing with your testicles first. You know, literally just hopping aboard something rough. Also, you know, you've recently been quite thoroughly spanked, so you know you're probably a bit tender anyway. You enjoying that drink?
Trying to get rid of it before something else happens.
Okay. So yeah, you're you hit the floor hard. It hurts. You know, there's no getting around it. It's uncomfortable. And the rather tall, portly gentleman comes over and he grabs Grigor by the back of the neck and one shoulder and picks him up with a grapple. You can resist, but he did crit.
And I got a 1 on the dice, so I'm not even going to bother.
Excellent. He just picks you up bodily by the back of the neck and one shoulder. And he's just like, oh god, I don't even know there's a word for it. I don't know if there's a word for hating furries. But yeah, he's just like, you know, fur is love. Why are you such a prick? And he throws you. He throws you sort of gently, but he throws you in such a way to get rid of you. Yeah, he's definitely going to get attacking. Oh Jesus! Okay. Yeah, you take 7 points of damage. Yeah, he throws you heavily against a wall. Apparently.
Dear.
And he, while you're sort of reeling against the wall, he picks Anita up and just sort of, solidarity, you know. Fur is love.
Fur is love. Any help you can give me a hand out the building?
Of course. And okay, he offers you a piggyback.
Anita takes it.
Excellent. Yes, this as you climb onto this fellow's back, you realise that the t-shirt he's wearing is almost definitely 3 or 4 sizes too small. Before you just went, it doesn't cover him very well. Now you're aware that it's cutting into some fairly meaty biceps. You know, quite heavily. You know, as he picks you up, it flexes, and you start to hear stitches pop. You know, and he's like, I suppose you want him to come as well.
Well, yeah, I suppose better.
I'll just crawl after them.
Fair enough. Yeah, he takes you he carries you to the top of the stairs, and he settles his shoulders again. He gets one hand sort of under you and one hand in front of him, and he just rushes down the stairs with one shoulder in, you know, daring anyone to get in his way.
Anita holds on tight and ducks herself down so that no one can actually see, or can see as little of her as possible.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. You're about a quarter of the way down the stairs when you notice someone in a blue jacket stepping out of Kurt's room. He's not looking your way. He's looking down the stairs. He seems to be shouting for someone to fetch more guards. The key point being more. You notice that he has a red armband on his left arm. I think it was the left arm. So hey, it's the left arm now. And it's got a leather A. And just as you ascertain these facts, your ride, as it were, slams into his back, sort of smashing him between the door frame and a rather meaty man who apparently is into fur. I want you to take a strength test to hold on, or a reflex to jump off. Anything you want to justify, you can try.
Reflex to jump off. Because she isn't strong, but quite agile.
Okay.
And that's 11 total. Not 11 on the dice, 11 total.
Yeah. You do let go, but it's a little bit too late. You slide to the floor sort of safely, but it's after he's hit the guy. You skid sort of down the steps a little until you're more or less parallel with the guy who's just been collided with. The burly gentleman whose name you never asked, continues down the stairs, looking far less stable. He's sort of stumbling. He misses a few steps. He starts to turn, and by the time he reaches the bottom, he's facing back towards you with a rather clumsy, rather curious look on his face. Like, how did you get back up there? Before he smacks into a table. One of the low tables, in the sort of into the chaos of throw pillows that is downstairs, and just goes over, goes head over, goes arse over tit, crumples into a pile in the pillows. He doesn't get up. Not anytime soon.
Trying to keep her back towards what is obviously a guard. Just kind of as gruffly as she can says, "Sorry, mate," and just scurries down the stairs. Attempts to scurry down the stairs and out.
Mm-hmm. Give me a sneak. You're attempting to pass unnoticed by the other guard, so.
That's another 11 in total.
Okay. Yeah. You put on your gruffest, sorry, mate, and the guard who's been crushed against the doorway, he's sitting sort of legs asplay, one leg in the room, and one leg on the stairs. Just sort of, he dazedly looks at you. That's what? The voice hasn't convinced him. But he's a little preoccupied. What with his sternum and testicles. So yeah, he's dazed but concerned. From inside the room, however, you hear, "Dennis, what the bloody hell's going on?" And the great hero of last week, Harold, comes into view. Harold, you notice, is carrying a pair of fluffy handcuffs that have, by aid of fire, been divested of most of their fluff. Yes, they kind of have burnt tatters of pinkish fluff on them. And he comes over and, "I don't know who you think you are, but I think I'm going to, I'm taking you in for assault on a guardsman." And he pulls out his handcuffs and he claps one down on your right wrist.
Anita's gonna say, again as gruffly as she can, "We'll meet with him." pointing downstairs.
Give me manipulate.
Intelligence or charisma?
I would say charisma. You're trying to give off an aura of believability here.
Damn, because my intelligence is so much better.
Mm.
It's another 11 in total.
Well, you have drawn. So he kind of glances down the stairs briefly. Grigor, you're now only like a stair or two above these two. As this guardsman has clapped irons upon this rather odd, but altogether pleasant person. They could have, if they wanted to, just come up there upstairs and silenced you somehow. But she was happy enough to have a conversation. She's helping you get out. This person seems to be getting clapped in irons. The guards, they're not renowned for due process or pleasantness.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the guard in the head.
Wow. Yes, viewers, this is the picture of a man who is apparently not fucking around. Okay, yeah, you exactly where do you pluck your pistol from?
My other pocket, the pocket that I wasn't trying to put the fish in.
Okay, fair enough. Just wondering, really. Yeah, you pull out your pistol and go.
12?
Yeah, fuck it. It's you're only staying you're staying less than 5 feet away. Yeah, pump a bullet. Where do you want to shoot him? Where are you shooting?
In the head.
You're shooting him in the head. Okay, just want to be absolutely sure. Everyone always shoots everyone in the head. I just thought I'd give you a chance to reconsider. But yeah, you shoot him in the head.
And that's 17 damage. I got maximum.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you there's another slightly quieter boom in this confined hallway. Sort of a brief image of sort of sparkling white. Trails from the muzzle of your pistol to just in front of Harold's left ear, and disappears just under the cheekbone.
Mm-hmm.
Have you rolled a fire damage?
Huh? I don't know how we were going to do that.
Yeah. No, D6.
Standard damage. Roll a D6. Okay. 6.
Jesus Christ. Maximum damage in every possible way. Yeah, you somewhere out there, the long dead ghost of the guy who voiced all those Quake games just goes max damage, and the guy's jaw just blows off in a cloud full of superheated blood. A flare of white fire bursts out the right side of Harold's neck and cauterizes a wound that's almost the size of a fist. Yeah. Harold's 12 hit points seemed enough, but apparently not. He goes down like a sack of shit. A flaming sack of shit. Collapsing onto his friend Dennis, who's still dazed and in an awful lot of pain. Anita, you apparently have gained a fuzzy handcuff.
Bonus.
Well,
Jewelry.
the other one is still there, but hey. Yeah, although you have now committed a bloody murder in front of a guardsman at a murder scene.
Anita hasn't.
Oh, you as a collective, you have now been associated with 2 bloody murders.
Anita's just gonna shout so much for a quiet exit and leg it to the door.
I'm gonna get the keys to the handcuffs before we leave.
Okay. You're going to attempt to get the keys to the handcuffs. Give me a knowledge. To sort of justify you working out quickly where these things would be.
I forgot how well geared up I was on knowledge. That's a 16.
A 16, yeah. You intuit almost instantly from where his hands were before you shot him, where the keys to these things would be, and you pull the hem of his trousers out slightly, and you pull out the little pouch that has the handcuff keys that was hanging from the inside of his belt. And you're just like, not sneaky enough for you. As you pull it and it breaks the little leather thong that was holding it on, and you have a tiny bag with a handcuff key in.
I'll look after Anita.
Excellent. Anita, you entered the main bar area now. People aren't reacting well to. There weren't very many people down here, but they're not reacting well to a guy apparently barreling down here and possibly breaking his neck. A loud gunshot, and then another gunshot. So people are panicking a bit. Guns going off nearby they can understand, but guns going off up the corridor, being British takes over. Oh my God, there's a fucking gun. You hear someone shouting, "She's got a ruddy gun!" As they dive out of the back door that you hadn't previously noticed.
Anita's gonna get rid of the furry costume. Just hold her hands up and go, I haven't got a gun! And try and...
the furry costume is held on by some very stout straps. It would take a while to take it off.
Okay. She's not gonna bother then, she's just gonna try and leg it.
Yeah. I mean, for the sake of ease, you could probably slack off the ankle straps for help running, and you'd just be wearing a rather all-encompassing cloak.
Can she try and cut the straps? She
Yeah.
has a knife.
You could try and cut through the straps. Give me a straight strength. Just thick leather straps. Do you manage to do it cleanly the first time? Or...
No, I do not, because that's a 9.
Yeah, you hack at the straps a bit. They're weaker than they were. It's a bit looser. It feels a lot nicer. But yeah, they're made of sterner stuff. You don't want to think about why. Someone put a lot of effort into this. Probably that guy. Yeah, you're still in your hedgehog suit made of doormats and broom bristles, and a wooden and a very immaculate wooden hedgehog mask. The mask is quite nice if you're into masks of hedgehogs. But yeah, you're standing there struggling with your costume. So Grigor, Dennis, the man clutching his entire front of his body, starts to sort of regain his wits after a few moments of staring at your murder victim. And he pulls a whistle from his belt, and he gives it a very, very piercing toot. What do you want to do about it?
Just having a look. Okay. I'm gonna shoot him in the head.
Oh, God damn. It's head day today. Right.
Oh, he's making a noise and it's hurting my ears.
Okay.
Maybe I won't. Maybe I will botch that completely.
Oh, excellent. You roll a botch. Let's see what happens. That is typical. I roll a dice to try and determine the severity of your botch, and I botch. So,
Okay.
yeah. How big is the clip of your gun?
It is 15.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, your gun just goes berserk. You pull the trigger, and it just keeps going. The trigger sort of jams. It just keeps cycling and cycling. Where there was previously a man sitting in a doorway with a whistle to his lips, there's now just a pillar of sort of whitish blue flames. Your gun is completely empty. The action is fused. It's very hot to the touch. The last bullet actually sort of just tumbles out of the barrel sideways and hits the floor and sort of, dances around a little, fizzing. The dude in front of you is completely destroyed. Anything he may have been carrying is also on fire. The fire starts to spread a bit. Whatever was in your bullets is apparently very, very, very hot.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Yes. What's the damage on your pistol? It was just standard pistol damage, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's a D8 plus 9.
D8 plus 9.
Yeah.
If I was going to be a proper bastard, I would make you take this damage that I just rolled. But I suspect it would kill you.
Quite possibly.
Nevertheless, you take 8 damage.
Minus endurance. So I've got. Yeah. I'm down to 3 hit points.
Mm.
I don't
Yes.
do well.
Yes, the pyroclastic splashback just hits you full in the face. It burns your forearms. It's profoundly unpleasant, but it's far, far, far better than what happens to the poor sod in front of you. I don't know if you want to drop the gun, but it's almost certainly useless.
No, I can find a way of fixing it.
Excellent.
It's got a plus 9, damn it.
Yes. Anita, you turn around to hear a barrage of gunfire, and there is just a pillar of blue-white flame halfway up the stairs that starts to spread. As the fire spreads from the initial point, it starts to sort of turn into more sort of reassuring yellows. But the heart of this flame is a burning hot blue-white.
She's just going to turn around and say, "What did you do?" Well, at least it's going to be a distraction and
I had a twitch.
a twitch.
Yeah. Gun went mental.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's meant to be just a little mark. Nothing too mad.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, I now have no bullets left, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, that might be an issue. I think we'd better leave.
Yeah, that was going to be my next thing.
I think we run out the building shouting, "Fire, fire, someone get out quick."
Yeah.
Do you run out the front or the back?
People. Do we run out the front or the back? A lot of the patrons have gone out the back.
Out the front.
Out the front.
Yes. Cannon remains intact.
While she yelling, "Brothels burning, brothels burn."
Oh god, let's not turn this into a campfire song. Yeah, you rush out the front to a crowd of very concerned-looking, not daytime brothel visitors. So you're screaming fire. That generally does bring a response, even the most jaded and self-obsessed people. So soon there's a full-scale effort to form a bucket chain, down to the docks, where they can dredge up the horrible toxic water to try and throw on this fire, because no one's going to use their nice, clean, safe, rainwater. But
why would you do that?
Exactly. No one's going to use their drinking water to put out a fire. It's far more important you have something to drink than somewhere to live. The flames start to spread. By the time you get outside, you can clearly see like a sort of orange light coming through the window that was previously in Kurt's room. It was on the front of the building, so you can see that. I don't know if this is a moment of sorrow or elation for you, Gregor. Clearly you enjoyed yourself there, and it's on fire, but you're also alive. So, I don't know how you feel about that one.
I'll try and help in the buckets. I'll bring up the chain.
You set fire to a building, run outside, and join the bucket chain.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay. You join the bucket chain. Anita, what are you doing? Standing there in a smouldering, hedgehog outfit.
I am trying to remove the hedgehog
Okay.
outfit.
Okay, yeah.
Hide discreetly out of the way, and then she's going to join the bucket chain as well. Just kind of blend into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to genuinely join the bucket train or blend into the crowd?
Blend into the bucket chain.
Okay.
Hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
Why would I be in the bucket chain if I'm the one that caused the fire?
Exactly.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, you where do you go to take off this hedgehog suit, inconspicuously?
I find a quiet, dark little corner somewhere.
Well, you are literally standing in the corner of the merchant's quarter, in the middle of the day, and there's a bucket chain. So
I'm guessing everyone's concentrating on the fire. So
oh yeah,
can I duck behind a market stall and take it off? Because I'm guessing the stall holders will be either helping with the bucket chain or doing the very British thing of watching.
Yeah, they're probably doing the very British thing of watching. I mean, there aren't an awful lot of market stalls. It's mainly the shops around the outside of the square. That are sort of permanent. Everything else is sort of wheeled carts and things.
Or duck into the shop. Just somewhere out of the way.
Okay, yeah. You immediately to the left of Bungo's, you duck into Erica's Leatherworks.
Good old
there's a small sort of rather rickety looking sort of picket fence. I wouldn't say it's white because it's not. And there's a little sort of waist height gate. And as you open it, you notice a young girl in what has previously affectionately been described as a leather gingham dress, playing hopscotch. You look strange.
Yeah, I know. Any chance you can give me a hand getting this off?
Okay. And she goes over, why are you dressed like a animal?
It's a long story. You really don't want to know.
I think I do want to know. I think it could be an interesting story.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to know.
Mummy and Daddy say that I shouldn't hear stories about the brothels. But I want to know them anyway.
Your mummy and
You
Daddy
stole
are
that from the
very
brothel,
right.
didn't you?
I borrowed it. And I need to give it back, but they kind of have a fire, so I need to get it off so I can help put the fire out.
Okay. She goes to your ankle where you try to hack it off. She goes, "My mum made these belts. They're good, aren't they?"
They are very good, yes. Your mum does very, very good work.
Yeah, she does. She always told me there's a trick to getting these undone.
Did she teach you the trick?
No. She says she'll teach me it when I grow up.
Okay. But can we try and get them undone?
Of course. I want to keep this. It looks funny.
You can keep it. Yep, that's fine. You can have it.
Okay. And yeah, she eventually manages to struggle the ankle strap loose. It's one of those it's one of those belts that has like a double-tongued like buckle, so you have to like struggle with it a bit, and it's very thick, sort of heavy gauge leather, so it's quite hard to bend. There is a trick to undoing these. You actually have to pull it tighter, and then feed it through. But she doesn't know that because she hasn't been told. So yeah, she manages to get one of your ankles loose, and I assume you're probably setting to work on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You you watch her for a few moments and then go, "What? It's a belt. Of course I'm going to do this." You struggle. It's very tough, but you get it off. And the wrist ones are a lot easier. Yeah. I don't know why. Apparently, whoever the bloke who was who made this didn't spring for decent wrist straps. Maybe he wanted his hands free occasionally. Who knows? And as you take this off, you realise that there's actually a zip around the back of the mask, so you can take the mask off if you want. And the inside of the mask has an inscription reading, "It will always be our secret, Bruce." So you're not sure who Bruce was. It might be the dude who was wearing this. It might be the dude who made it. Who knows? It might be someone else with their own suit, who was also there sometimes. But yeah, if you want, you can keep Bruce's mask. You don't have to.
Yeah, let's keep the mask.
Yeah.
Whatever, that might come in handy.
Yeah. I mean, without the rest of the suit, it's sort of an item of artistic interest.
Exactly.
And at a pinch, you could possibly strap it to your arm and use it as a shield. It's made some fairly solid looking wood. But yeah, you hand the rest of this bristly suit to this girl, and she uses it to she lays it on the floor and uses chalk to lay out a game on it. A game with of course crosses. You're not entirely sure what this game is. It looks like something that might be the bastard child of noughts and crosses and Sudoku. It's not worth stopping to find out.
No.
But yeah, she's like, "Thank you. I always want more things to play with. Mum only lets me wear things that are made of leather."
Having more things to play with is always good. Enjoy. I'm gonna go help put the fire out now.
Okay. And she goes back to playing whatever the fuck game it is. So yes.
I'm gonna go join the bucket chain and hide in plain sight.
Okay. Do you close the gate when you leave?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I may or may not have been brought up in the country at some stage and know the country code.
Okay. Thirsty will remember that. Yes. So yes, you close the gate behind you, and You feel rather than see an approving nod coming from the store behind you. And as you head back into the square, and you find Grigor standing next to a team of men and women who are utilizing a pump to draw water from the Ooze River. And this water is water in only the loosest and most generous of definitions. It's quite thick. It's got a skin on top. It's unpleasant. But you can float a boat on it. So hey. And they slop it into buckets, jars, large tankards, bowls, anything they can find, in order to pass it up the line towards bungos. And as you're, I assume you're helping or appearing to help.
Helping.
Okay. As you do so, a tall man. He's quite round. He gives the impression of someone who was once very well built, but has definitely sort of gone to seed. He sort of stumbles up from further uphill, sort of behind the merchant's quarter, in clothes that suggest affluence. Most of it's made of leather still, but he's got a sort of a leather tailcoat and a leather top hat, and trousers with leather patches. But he's also got a yellow and black striped waistcoat. He's got a cravat on that's made of, you don't know. It doesn't look like fabric. It might be brown paper. He's clearly got a taxidermied bird of some kind perched on one shoulder. And around his rather tall leather hat, in bright red letters, is the word bungo. What's happening to my building? Why aren't you helping? You there, and you! And he just points at random storeholders. Help! Go! Where are my boys? My beautiful boys. And a few guards have to stop him running in. He's clearly distraught about his boys. But before we get any misunderstandings about him being a pleasant man, he starts talking about how much it costs to buy them. Do you know, an enormous investment of capital in those boys? I paid them dearly. Oh, you can't buy those sort of boys anywhere. Oh, no, you must let me in. Oh, no, you can't get away with this sort of thing. And the guard starts sort of slowly dragging him away. He clearly at some point is getting briefed on the idea that a few people have now been murdered in his establishment also. He's a little less, sort of pleasant about that. But yes, you're apparently forming a bucket chain to put out the fire you caused.
Yeah.
So, bucket chains proceeding. The fire doesn't seem to be being beaten. It's not spreading, but they're not beating it back with any particular speed or grace. About a third of the people who were here have now left. They're bored. They're tired. They stink of wood smoke. They've sloped off for a drink. The thunderous support for saving this community establishment has waned over the last 40 minutes. As people realise that firefighting is dangerous and difficult.
I'm just going to throw myself to the floor and just look up at the building as it still burns away and just go, no! Stop thumping the ground.
Anita's going to look at you and go, that's probably not a good thing to look. And actually looking at you, you're alright, because you don't look that well.
It was fun there.
If you say so. Each to their own.
Yeah,
Now,
as Grigor lays there, sort of, crying and punching the ground and sobbing piteously, a young woman comes over, rather attractive, svelte. One might even say Amazonian woman comes over, and she's wearing something that, as I described last week, looks like Frank Frazetta drew it. It's armoured but wildly impractical. And as she takes a knee and offers you some bandages that have been soaked in something nice and cool, because she's noticed you've got horrible burns all up your forearms and face. You notice that on her neck she has tattooed the word Valk, and behind her ears she has little like cuffs made of feathers. And she's just like, "Are you all right? Can I? Do you need help?"
I've had better days.
Well, clearly, you can just sit up. I'll see to those. And she binds up your hands like mittens, up to sort of the elbow, and these sort of these cool like wet rags. It feels quite nice.
And she's going to be stood there judging because she was about to do that, but couldn't get any sense out of him.
Yeah. And the Valk
She was throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. The Valk reaches into a little pouch that's hanging perilously close to a chainmail loincloth, in danger of vanishing behind it. And pulls out a little jar, probably no deeper than a thumb, and just slowly pulls off the little lid, and pull in, and it starts dabbing ointment on your face. It stings like a bastard. But it's very cold. It's this lovely cooling ointment. It just stings in the cuts horribly.
Anita's going to ask what the hell that is because professional interest and all that.
It's who the fuck are you?
I'm with him. I was going to try and treat him, but you kind of beat me to it.
Oh, all right. Well, it's a ointment we use for boils.
Okay.
Boils and burns and friction.
Yeah, no, you don't need to go any further.
Yeah, and she offers it to you. She notices you have like a first aid box on your belt. You rattle with drug vials and things. You have like a pill bottle like poking out your top pocket. And you smell it, and it smells like one of the herbal bullshit remedies that you occasionally pawn off on people when you don't have anything better. It's got some mild soothing properties, but it's mainly made of stinging nettles and bullshit. It feels like it's doing something so people feel better. But you don't put it on open wounds. You know this for a fact. You do not put this on open wounds.
Yeah.
It gets in and it hurts. It doesn't harm you, but it hurts like hell. Are they smearing this liberally all over the open burns on Grigor's face?
You may not want to do that. You're going to be causing him a lot more pain than he actually needs.
He's a big boy. He can deal with it. And she slaps him on the face. Just gently, oh, he's a big boy. just not thinking about it really.
You really don't want to do that either.
Well, well, if you with him,
Yeah.
well, I really shouldn't do this, but she puts the lid back on the ointment and says, make sure you dab some of that on him, a few times a day, when it starts to get red again.
Yeah, brilliant. She's going to take that and go, yeah, that's thanks, and squirrel it away. As the useless stuff it is.
Yeah, and she. Yes, having a now had a short conversation. It sinks in to this Valk who's used to sort of talking to people who look like her. That you're also female. Before you were just sooty person number 2. But she's had enough time to sort of listen to your voice. She's probably had spent some time around rotters and has finally gone like, that's female rotter voice. Yes. Because although we're actually hearing Lilth, rotters probably sound a lot more growly. A lot crispier. Who knows? Maybe Anita doesn't, but hey. And she goes, well, if you ever need to get away from the likes of him, she says, pointing at the man who's got like bleeding knuckles and burns all over his hands and his face, a gun at his hip that clearly has a jammed action and an empty clip. She's like, well, just come into the hall. All women are welcome. No men allowed. She's giving him a really shitty look. She's noticed that you look a little battered about, and you're sitting here with him. She's making some prejudgments that, although unfair, or at least well intentioned. And he did try and sit on you and crush you against the wooden floor. So,
he did.
All it would have taken. I'm not saying anything, but all it would have taken is him discussing the plan. So she wanders back into the Hall of Valkyries, Rachel's Hall of Ribald Valkyries, and you're left in the square, in front of the bucket chain. Your hands are now bound like mittens. And increasingly, more guards are sort of bustling around the place. You hear them sort of start to interrogate people in the crowd. People who look sooty, people who look hurt.
She is going to suggest that we find somewhere a little bit away from the square and try and get somewhere away from the guards in order to get some treatment.
This sounds like a plan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking, now I've got the mittens on, does it count as armed close combat?
No.
Yeah.
No. It counts at best as fist wraps. At worst, like you're wearing like the thickest, most pathetic training mittens and attempting to slap people. These things are probably bound thick enough that you probably can't fully clench your hands. So you sort of club people with barely clenched fists. If you really wanted to be in a fist fight right now. But yeah, you are attempting to pull back from the brothels and sort of hide in the press of bodies in the rest of the merchants' quarter then. Or are you going to try and find an alleyway or what?
Was any of that treatment, did that actually do anything for my health?
Not immediately, no. But it's yeah. Oh yeah, you're.
I am going to do something about that.
Yeah.
Trust me. When we find somewhere safe, I will try and patch you up. But we need to find somewhere safe, away from the guards asking questions about 2 murdered guards. That you shot, not me.
Yeah.
As you are sort of trying to make your way quietly through a civic crisis, quietly with an injured person, you start to hear sort of the crowd gossiping. If you want to actually listen to what they're saying, give me perceptions. You probably both want to know what's going on.
And that's a botch.
It's a botch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6.
Okay.
My perception's shit.
Yeah. Grigor, you gather that one of the murders was a prostitute.
Ooh.
It was one of the boys. But nothing else. Lilth, you're absolutely sure that someone said the fire's out. You look back over your shoulder and see flames coming out of upstairs windows. It's not. But you're absolutely sure you heard someone say that. Momentary confusion, but you know someone said that. They sounded very sure. But yeah, nothing useful gleaned of the many, many, many facts I memorised for that particular moment. Nothing useful gleaned, apart from one of the murders. One of the 2 murders that the guards are looking for people for is the death of a prostitute. Yeah. So yeah, how are you going to attempt to get out of the square? The square is now filling up with guards. One of the murders was that of a prominent guard. And you know this. You know that Kurt was shot.
Yeah.
Whether the guards necessarily know this is another thing, but the name Kurt is going around. So there are a lot of guards. They are growing around in groups of more than 3. They are questioning people.
Any route that looks less packed with guards than anywhere else?
Not really. They seem to be actively stopping people from leaving. They're going around in groups at the alleyways and roads out of the square.
Are they guarding any of the shops?
No, they're not actively guarding anything. They're milling around in between the exits, talking to people. Did you see this? Have you been there? Do you know anything? Have you seen anything unusual? That sort of thing.
Can we head into a shop and find a back door out of it?
Yeah, I imagine you probably could.
Yeah, let's do that.
Shops are still open. I mean, merchants on the other side of the square aren't going to abandon their shops just because someone over there's on fire. They're going to wait until it's only a few doors down. Then they'll join the bucket chain. I mean, you easily spy Tom's Oddity Shop on the other side.
Let's head to Tom's Oddity Shop because he's not going to remember anything.
No. Right. Now I have to remember Tom's voice. Fuck. Yes. You head over to Tom's Oddity Shop. You remember there is a very large alleyway down one side. I seem to recall. Was it large? Yeah, it was fairly large. I think was that the place where you nailed someone's testicles to a wall? Or something?
I didn't know.
Well, a man's testicles were nailed to a crate. Only hours ago.
Yeah, I think it was that alleyway.
Yeah.
The old Timmy and her nail gun.
Yeah. God, bloody nail gun. Yeah. You head back towards there. You see two guards helping another of of another of their kind off of the crate.
Anita's gonna casually turn so that she can't be seen and lean against the wall, kind of hiding herself. Because she may have been there when said incident happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You give me a sneak.
It's a 10.
As was this. So yeah. You walk past and one of the guards. I mean, they were going around in groups of 3. 2 of them are helping this guy off of here. There's one guard who's still looking up the alleyway, and he's yeah, he sees you and he excuse me, come here, stop where you're going, come here. At this point, he sees Grigor. Bloody hell! I can see you're with someone who's hurt. So I won't keep you too long. Have you seen anything unusual around here? We've well, it looks like we've got a killer on the loose. Have you seen anyone unusual? You know, anyone out of place?
This is Ooze Town.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, you know.
You mean
well, long and short, have you seen anyone with a nail gun? Have you seen a woman with a nail gun?
Not that I recall, no.
Well, that will be a manipulation.
Is that on intelligence?
Intelligence is only if you're offering an alternative fact to try and distract someone.
I'm offering the fact that I haven't seen Timmy in a while.
Ooh.
Which is true. I haven't seen Timmy in a while. I haven't seen someone with a nail gun recently.
In order to use your intelligence, you'd have to be offering him a fact. Rather than, I don't know, you'd have to be saying, for example, yes, I saw a woman with a nail gun over there. Or, I saw them in bungos. Or, you know, I met a woman with a nail gun at the bleed. It's using a fact.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the whole truth.
I can do that.
Yeah. What are you going to do? How are you going to sell out your friend? Creatively.
I am going to say that I did see a woman with a nail gun, but that was yesterday, and I don't know where she headed.
Oh, so where did you see her?
It was over towards the docks, I think. I've slept since then.
The docks.
Yeah.
You mean half of the town?
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, move on. Come on, get out of here. We can see he needs help, so off you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And scurry away very quickly.
And yeah, he clearly goes back to the other two and is like, yeah, sighting of a woman with a nail gun, you know. It's like, she's clearly at large. Better keep an eye out for other victims. Yeah. The guy who's newly pierced. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. To which the questioning guy says, who? Ugh, we live in dark times. So yes, you head on into Tom's, I assume, or is that not the plan anymore?
If we've got past those guards and we're in an alleyway, gonna keep.
Well, you going to head down the alleyway, or are you heading past the opening and he beckoned you in? He's let you go. Which way are you going?
In the opposite direction to the guards.
Okay.
Well, which way are the guards going? Are they heading?
The guards are directly in front of you in the alleyway.
Okay, and they've told me I can go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk past the guards up the alleyway.
Okay. Bold choice. Are you going to do anything to conceal yourself as you walk down this alleyway?
I am going to turn towards Gregor, helping him so that my back is towards the guy that got hit by the nail gun.
Okay. Give me another sneak then.
10.
Excellent. Yeah, you walk straight past the guy who looked you full in the face as his nads were nailed to a crate. Apparently he's a little preoccupied. The other two guards, they give you a second look, just like, oh, we're letting people through. All right. Fair enough. And yeah, you wander past. You're now on the dock side. The merchant quarter, basically it backs straight onto the docks. And this is where they get most of their merchandise from. The docks, for the most part, this part of the river is just a straight drop. All of the little piers and moorings are further down towards the sea. This is where, in days of old, larger ships would come and moor. There's a number of sort of ladders down towards the water, but you'd have to be an absolute fool to go in the water.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is, at the moment, a low tide. You could go down and walk on the mud if you desperately didn't want to be seen as you headed inland. Or you could just walk along the docks.
I know what that mud's like.
Yes, you do.
Yes, walk along the dock.
Okay, yeah. You
Looking for somewhere I can duck in to treat my erstwhile friend who's got me into a hell of a lot more trouble.
Yes.
It was all distractions.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you head along the docks. After sort of 10 minutes, Madame Nooch's knocking shop comes into view, which is a pleasant sight. It's getting on towards late afternoon now. It's taken you a fair long time to get out of the bloody merchant's quarter, and helping a bloke who's a stiff breeze from death isn't exactly the fastest way to move. But as you draw closer, I actually have them noted down here somewhere. As you move closer,
Is Mary on duty by any chance?
Yes. Where are the names? I had the names of two people.
You've got Mary and Gary.
Yeah, that was it. It was Gary. That was it. It was Gary. That was the one I was looking for. So I think Mary would probably be on later in the day when there's more chances of people being a bit rowdier. So yeah, Gary is standing at the end of the gangway, and he comes on over, and for some reason I remember this voice. Can I help you with anything? Does he need help? Shall I?
I just need somewhere.
You want to be coming aboard then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, please. I just need somewhere to treat him in, privacy.
Okay. And he grabs Griggle by the arm and puts it over his shoulder, which is probably quite uncomfortable for you, because you have horribly burned arms. And he holds you tightly around the wrist to keep your arm around there. Yeah. His other arm goes around your waist, which I don't know. You might find pleasant. You are at Bungos. You know, and he sort of grabs you by the belt and helps you along, and he takes you once again through the back of Madam, round the back of the ship, sort of past the shipping containers that are used as rooms for patrons, and through a little gated sort of section behind the bridge to the smaller, crappier shipping containers that the staff are allowed to use as homes. And he puts you down. Oh, yeah, he puts you down on the bedding that you slept on the previous day. your friends left the previous day. Yeah, still just like thrown there. Is there anything else you need?
Not for the moment, thanks, Gary.
Okay. Could you tidy up the mess when you're done?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thanks. And
Thank you.
he turns on the utterly woefully inadequate light and closes the door to give you a little bit of privacy, because it wouldn't really be done. It wouldn't really do to let everyone know that this is your makeshift goddamn hospital nowadays. And the grotesquely large fella who taught you how to grill the flat fish earlier comes by with some boiled water. So a few minutes later, Gary told me you might need some of that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. What was your name again? I didn't catch it earlier.
It's Brent.
Brent. Thanks very much, Brent.
It's alright. Probably did have a name, but fuck it. It's Brent now.
We never ask names normally, so probably didn't.
Yeah. But yes. Brent. Fish guy Brent.
Right. I'm going to remove the badly done bandages.
Yeah.
And attempt to treat the wounds.
Okay, yeah. You take off the bandages. They're a bit sticky. The wounds are ugly. They are ugly, horrible chemical burns. Whatever these bandages were soaked in is clearly not helping. It might have helped for a more benign sort of burn, but whatever was in these wounds is, I seem to recall, it's alkaline. So I can't remember which way phosphorus is on things. I seem to think most things that fizz on contact with air and water are alkaline. So we'll go with alkaline. So wrapping it in water just waters it down. It's not going to calm it down like it would if it was just a contact burn. So yeah, you have some sort of horrible red, welty, sticky, oozy burns.
Yay! She is going to try and treat said burns. And this is not a skill I've used before, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. So you can just roll, but this is the game that we play. So what do you try to do?
I try to clean the wounds off, clean the bandages off of whatever gunk is on them, make them as cold as possible. I might stick my head out and ask if anyone's got any vinegar to try and neutralise the burns with some acid.
Yeah.
Knowing
Brent is still outside. He's once again grilling one of those big flat fish over a fire. You get the impression he does this a lot. He might even just be the ship's chef, keeps everyone fed. You don't know, but he's there. He's so vinegar. You. I mean, what do you need it for?
Chemical burns.
Oh shit. I've got some. I've got some pickled eggs, but I might need a bit of persuasion to let them go.
What sort of persuasion are you after?
Well, I tend to find money works.
Most people do. How about attack?
Yeah, fuck it, why not? So he takes your tack. He hands you a jar of pickled eggs. It's probably about a pint-sized jar, and the eggs in it are tiny. They're like proper little like wild bird, like songbird eggs.
Okay. I am going to go back, soak the bandages in the pickled egg vinegar, and wrap the burns.
Excellent. Yep. Good. So yeah, how many ranks do you have in medic?
How many ranks do I have? I have. Where has it gone? I've got 2 ranks in medic, plus 2 bonus, and 4 ability. So I have a +8 to medic.
Okay. You only have 2 ranks, so it's... So yeah, roll your medic check.
That is a 13 in total.
Yeah, you do you pretty much achieve everything you set out to do. You run out of vinegar quite quickly, or you start to run out of vinegar quite quickly, and you top it up a bit with the boiled water because it can't hurt that much. But yeah, you use the rest of the boiled water to keep it cool. You soak the bandages in the boiled water, and then you soak them in the vinegar. And yeah, they're not necessarily as tight as you might have wanted, but they're there. So roll your D8 healing.
And I forgot to get a D8 out.
I can roll it if you want.
If you've got one handy, yes please.
Oh, with all the luck of a PM, I roll an 8. And you have a +8 in medic, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so lucky Kerone gets 16 health back.
Oh, my maximum health is 14.
Hooray! So you feel fucking great.
I'm on steroids.
Yeah, you feel excellent. With the careful bandaging and the soaking and the steeping of the bandages, you actually feel slightly better than you did before you went to the brothel. Your hit point maximum hasn't increased, so fuck you. But you feel great. Even those sort of like those lingering aches and pains in your knuckles are gone. Anita threw in some like gentle massage to like ease the fingers into the bandaging. Oh, but it's a bit loose, but you feel good.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Yeah. And then just as a
fire.
And just as a a little finishing touch, for all the privation and pain and probably infamy you've brought down on her, and he just throws the rest of the vinegar over your face. Yeah. And it soothes the burns, but it's also a nice little cathartic gesture for her.
She resists the urge to throw the whole jar at his face.
Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, you now have a jar of maybe 24 pickled songbird eggs with no vinegar in. You can, I assume you've poured the eggs out, but you could probably put them back in.
Yeah, I'll put the eggs back in.
Yeah. Horrible shellless pickled eggs.
I know someone who will probably eat them. It's fine.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So yes, you have patched up your. You've patched up, at expense to yourself. You have patched up your erstwhile acquaintance. Your odd acquaintance.
I'm
Who
now going
helped.
to present him with the build.
I'm not sure if Grigor can read.
Oh, no. Anita will read it to him.
Ah, fair enough.
So that's an attack for the pickled eggs. Then there's a couple attack for the damage to reputation. Then there's a attack for making me have to lie extra to the guards. And then there's 2 attack, 1 for each of the murders that I am now associated with. So that's 6 attack in total for that treatment, please.
He just hands over 6 attack.
Excellent. And yeah, I've just noticed the time. So yeah, and with that, Grigor hands over 6 tack and goes his merry way. I don't know where he's going to. Probably Butts, the more sort of general use brothel. You know, for a warm bed and for a cool bed and a warm boy. Who knows? But yes, at that point, the camera will pan out on our group that's still separated. We still haven't managed to end up in the same place as the others, but hey, why would you?
That'd be too easy.
Exactly. Yes, it would. So yeah, that was Rotten Under Ooze Town. I was the world, and apparently all too many gruffly voiced men. So yeah, where can we find you people? Lilth.
So you can find me on Twitter, and well, I was Anita, your friendly, actually quite good medic.
Yeah. Where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21, where I don't write much, but I kind of lurk and retweet stuff and like stuff. So you can also find me on a Saturday night on Kit Battlebeard's Twitch channel, playing some D&D, shooting fire at stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Kerone, what about you? Where can we find you? Who are you? What's going on?
You can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. You can also find information about The Trade, which is my new short film, at jqs.org.uk. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for allowing me to hop along and enjoy the adventures. It was all rather nice, and yeah, it was fun to blow things up with my pistol, even if it did get damaged. And hopefully, between now and the next time we bump into Gregor, he's managed to fix it or something.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can find me on Friday for the first in quite a while of Friday Night Spiced, which is happening this Friday. It's Thursday. Yeah, Friday Night Spiced on a Thursday. That's for everyone out.
That would be quite something.
Yes, but it's 8 o'clock on Friday, so hopefully people will join us then.
Yes. Alright, so yeah, that was who they are. I was Thirsty, I was the world. You can find me on Twitter at thirsty_BTP. You can find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. You can find me here on Mondays and Fridays. Literally right here, because Friday Night Spiced is going remote. So I will always be sitting here with these things behind me. But not all the time. I do leave sometimes. Just want to make that absolutely clear. I do occasionally leave my lair. So yeah, if you watched us live, thank you for watching us live. That's great. If you're going to watch us on YouTube, thank you for doing that. And thank you for spurring me to actually put things onto YouTube, because I often forget for days on end. So yeah, that was Monday Nights Get Nuked. These were my players. I was the world, and good night.
Cheerio.
Oh, huzzah!
That was fun.
Yeah, outro slide. We're nearly there. Oh, yes. Sorry for ambushing you with being spanked by a large fish.
I've had worse.
Well, yeah, you did wake up in a morgue drawer that one time.
Yeah, and get instantly attacked by someone.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, all's fair in. Well, no, it's not. It's horribly unfair, actually. But yeah.
Yeah, just be thankful it wasn't Spanners that came upstairs, because she would have probably just.
Oh yeah,
onto you.
brutally murdered you.
Yeah.
You know.
Anita tries to fix people, not kill them. It's just everyone dies around her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. One of those things that Spanners does. It just transcends the situation. Yeah, she meets you and double taps you in the throat. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah. Once again, everyone who listened, thank you for listening. Cheerio. Hope you enjoy us next time. So.